From off the road for 16 years to on the streets and looking good. This week on the Dirthead Shed, we're rescuing this Mazda. All right, this Dirthead Shed, we're getting out of the shop. We're gonna go hit the road, we're gonna rescue a rig, we're gonna build it like I would have done in high school, except all in one shot instead of over time. Let's go get busy. We made our way up into North Idaho to where the little pickup that we're gonna go and rescue is stashed at. I had moved it over here in a previous episode. Last fall, we actually had to get this thing off the lady's property that we were storing it at and hauled it over to my buddy's work location. So we're actually gonna go over there and mess with it, which should be pretty cool. We're coming up on it here pretty soon. What a rad area, huh? Oh my gosh. This place is great. A little creek over there. You imagine this being the drive up to your work every day? Pretty great. What is this? My buddy Garrett was supposed to be out at an off-road competition this weekend. His rig's not supposed to be sitting here. Something must be up. Let's go over here and see what's going on with the old Mazda. Look at that thing. Look at that. That's what we're here to work on. Oh my gosh. It's great. And it's garbage. Check that out. This is a 1993 Mazda B2200. 2.2 liter carbureted, 5-speed LE5 package. This is a sweetheart of a little pickup truck. Wow, it is awesome. The story on this thing is that basically this just popped up on Marketplace for $500 last fall. And it's about 65, 70 miles from where I live. I called the lady and it wasn't a scam. So I had a friend of mine, my friend Garrett, who this is the place, it's his place here where we're working on it right now. I called Garrett and he actually knew the lady, he knew of the truck. He was a little jealous that I called on it first. The thing is actually, my buddy Rob from Texas called dibs on this, and so I went out there, I paid for the thing. Rob was supposed to fly out here and come get it, but it's now spring, 7 or so months later, and he wasn't able to come out and get it. So I am now the owner of this 93 Mazda B2200, and I'm super stoked. This thing, the body is straight as an arrow on it. I mean, not even like dings. The clear coat's flaky. There's some rust on like the bumpers, and it looks like some rust on these aftermarket mirrors and stuff. But all in all, for being a truck that's this old, it sure does look good. Oh, this is great. So the goal right now is to get this thing running and driving. I did get it to fire up last fall, so I heard the engine run, but the carburetor, it was supposedly parked a couple of years ago because the carburetor was acting up and it wasn't really like reliable driver anymore. So we're gonna drag it into my buddy Garrett's shop over there and start working on it. See what we can make happen in really just an afternoon. $500 truck, a truckload of parts, and we'll see if we can make this thing run and drive and be a cool little pickup again. Ha! What did we buy? Got a Century fiberglass top. Not really the style I like, but it's on here. I was told that this topper was put on this truck basically from new, and that this is actually a factory plastic drop-in bed liner. So I'm under the impression that the bed floor of this thing has probably never seen the light of day, which means it's either rusty and junky because it's had water and trash sitting on it for years, or I'm gonna pull stuff apart and it's gonna be like a brand new truck. We'll find that out later. This model, this series of Mazda pickups are like my favorite of the Mazdas. These ones came out from 84 until 93. This is the final year of this body style. This is a legit Mazda vehicle. This isn't a Ford collaboration one. This is a Japanese-made Mazda pickup. The body style before this would have been similar to a Ford Courier, also made by Mazda, but it would have been badged as either a Mazda B2200. You could have got a Sundowner package. It would have been the same as a Ford Courier. The body style after this, starting in 94, would have been the Ford Ranger style, and they called them a B3000 when it was a B3000 or a B4000. This one, though, these are my favorite. The B2000, B2200, B2600Is in this body style are like my favorite of the Mazda pickups. So really stoked to finally get my hands on one of these, other than Mazda Grande. Mazda Grande is the exact same body style as this truck as well. I've never owned a cool lowered mini truck version of this body style. It's one of the best looking lowered pickups in my opinion, and that's kind of the goal here. We're gonna start with a super low buck truck, super low budget parts, get the thing running and driving hopefully reliably, and hopefully have just a cool like high school throwback mini truck on the dime. Not too sketchy. It smells a little bit musty in here, but it doesn't smell like mice have been like living in it too much. Door sounds good. Come on. Did you hear that? The thing's solid. Oh, no battery. Like I said, I got this thing fired up last fall, and it did run. It ran terrible, but it ran. So it should run again, hopefully long enough to get this thing into the shop. Let me go grab the battery and an air compressor, and we'll get started with that. I'm 99% sure I drug a dead battery all the way out here, but we'll find out here in a minute. Come on. Oh, camera's trying to jump ship. Don't do it, man. So we got a couple of grounds over there that need to be reattached. Smells like really old gas in this thing. That's the old battery hold down. And an old rag of some sort. Hopefully the battery's got some juice, and hopefully that tire will take some air. Where's the switch on this one? There's some juice there. Doesn't sound great, whatever. All right. We'll give that a minute and see if it'll take some air. Probably be needing this, the old Harbor Freight jump box. That battery will probably take a charge and be okay, but it's not great yet. So we'll use that. We'll go ahead and pop the air cleaner lid off of this thing so we can get some gas in the carb, and then hopefully we can just fire this thing up and drive it into the shop. Let's try this stuff. Cyclo Breakaway. Oh, it's got that bubbly, got the bubble going on. Huh. I don't remember that being that difficult last time I messed with this thing. That's not one to give up now, is it? It's just a wing nut. But it's putting up battle. All right, get a little True Fuel down the throat. Should probably double check the oil, make sure it's still got some. I'll fire this puppy up. Oil, got some. Nasty looking. Wow, this thing's got air conditioning? That means it probably, nope, air conditioning, but manual steering. That's strange. Clutch goes to the floor. I don't recall that being a problem before. Key on, clutch to the floor. It cranks. It's not locked up, that's good. Let's put the jump box on, and we should probably put some fluid in the clutch reservoir to see if that thing comes back to life. Oh yeah, it's empty. Empty. All right. So brake fluid goes in the clutch reservoir along with in the brake reservoir. Gas goes in there, battery jump box goes on there. This thing will probably just fire up and purr like a kitten. All right, let's start by seeing if we can get our clutch pedal back. Pump the clutch up a couple times and see if it'll start doing its thing. Knock some bubbles out of this thing and start making some pressure. Feels like there's absolutely nothing there. Sometimes like actions like that or like that will help kind of knock the air bubbles out. The clutch is coming back. If you look in there, you can see those little bubbles, little tiny bubbles. That's the air getting worked out of the system and coming back up to the surface. Basically, I just was under here pumping on this clutch pedal long enough to where it's starting to draw the air up out of that system. And it feels like it's actually getting disengagement on the clutch itself. Awesome. Yeah, we got a big bubbles in there now, and then a bunch of little ones coming up. All that air that's coming out is getting displaced with the brake fluid, which is going to allow the hydraulic system to work properly. We might end up with a leak down below or something somewhere, but typically, if you can get it to start building pressure again and get the system with fluid in it, it'll come back good enough to get you home. Might have to order parts later, but I think we'll be all right as far as getting this clutch to actually engage and disengage. Sweet. Gosh, I love old trucks. Oh, broken windshield, just like everything else I own. That's neat. I'm pretty confident the clutch is gonna work when it needs to. Let's see if we can get the carburetor to play nice. Throw a little bit of fuel down the carburetor. Usually you want to throw it down the vent to fill the bowl, but I don't know where the vent is on this one. See if it'll fire up. Fire in the hole. It's cranking good. That's gonna run like a top. It's gonna run fine. It smells good with that 2-stroke gas in it. All right, I fired up. It's not staying running. I kind of feel like I might just want to do the basics and throw some gas in it. It's not showing any on the, it's not showing any, well, it's showing empty on the gauge in there. So as much as I don't want to like throw bad gas or good gas on top of bad gas, I feel like we should probably put some gas in this tank. Let me see if maybe this has a drain that we could get fuel out of it. It looks like it does. Got a drain right there. Sometimes it's like questionable if that's going to seal back up when you put it back together, but it's probably worth getting as much of the old crummy gas out as possible. Let me grab some wrenches and see if Garrett has a drain pan that maybe we can fill up with some crummy old fuel. Hopefully that's big enough. I think that's a 17. There's like a bunch of undercoating stuff on here. This drain plug's probably gonna have like a copper crush washer on it as a seal. Come on, get all the junk off of there. So it should just be a matter of like getting one good whack on the wrenches and they will pop, and it should pop loose. Look at that. Here we go. Let's see what's in this gas tank. Oh, it smells like turpentine. It's nasty. I need to pop the gas cap so that it can pour properly. There's a little more than I expected. Let me go track down a bucket so that we can not overflow this thing onto the driveway. This stuff doesn't even resemble gas anymore. It smells like turpentine. It's like the color of coffee. It wasn't doing anything. So I'm kind of curious to see if the carburetor problems that they were having might have been just because it had really old gas in it, or if they started on the carburetor fix before they parked it. I don't know. We'll get this drained out and some fresh put in, and then we'll figure out what the next step is. This thing's gonna fire up. When I bought this, they said the carburetor was bad and they had bought an extra carburetor for it, and they said it would fire up and run, but it would die after a couple of minutes or whatever. So I guess we'll find out how it does once we get some fresh gas in it. Let's get in here. Pump the clutch up. Come on. Running on the gas in the carb that I put in it. Oh, now it's getting other gas. Smoking a little bit. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's smoking a little bit because I'm using that gas that's got the oil mixed in it. Oh, sounds like my battery charger's mad at me. Here we go, fire in the hole. Try and keep this thing running. Oh, not gonna do it. We're gonna have to get through all that old crappy gas that's in the carb. Oh, it's kind of putting. Even if it just does this for a while until it clears out that old gas, that's better than nothing. Come on. Come on, thing. It's kind of running. It's gonna do this for a while until it burns that really crummy gas out of the carb. Oh, come on, keep going. And then hopefully once it burns all the crummy gas out, the idle will pick up and it'll smooth out. It's pretty bad. Motor's like jumping out of the car. It's hilarious. Oh, the idle was picking up for a second. Do I dare step on the gas a little bit and see what happens? Bet you shuts it off. Yep. Dang it. It's getting better, I swear. Hopefully once it burns out that old gas, it smooths out a little bit. It would be awesome if I don't have to throw a carburetor on this thing right now. But I did buy a Weber and brought it with me just in case. So, we've got backups. We've got plans. We got a whole lot of junk here to try and make that truck run and drive. I'm tired of standing out in the sun. Let's go see if this thing will get into the shop. I know it's not gonna run if I give it any gas, but maybe if I'm just easy on the clutch. Nope, I killed it. It wants to go. This is kind of embarrassing. I think it might need that carburetor. This week on the Dirthead Shed, I got one of my high school dream cars. I got a good deal on it. To the shop. Oh my gosh. I made it. Holy cow. That was fun. I changed my mind. I'm gonna pressure wash this thing before we work on it. It's got years of mold and grime and moss and pine needles on it. Might as well clean some of that off. Sorry, Garrett, I ran the pressure washer out of gas. It looks a little better though. Got a bunch of moss off of it. Feel bad I blew the sticker right off the tailgate, but it kind of cleaned up a little. Cleaned up a little bit. The engine bay's a little less crusty. It's getting pretty late in the day. It's like 6 o'clock, and I got the pressure washing done, and I actually was able to fire the thing back up, but it runs terrible still. So before I head home for the night, I'm gonna go ahead and mess with the carburetor a little bit. Garrett was nice enough to let me borrow his shop if I wanted to, and I'm gonna go ahead and take him up on that, try and get the carb installed. I ordered a Weber 3236 from Redline Weber. It's sort of like they're an online distributor, and they seem to be one of the only ones that actually carries the Italian brand Webers, or Italian made Webers, not the Chinese knockoffs. So I put one on the D50, but I used a 38 on it. It's kind of a big carb for that truck. This one I'm going a little smaller with the 3236. I guess we'll go ahead and tear into this thing a little bit. It looks cool, but dang, I'm getting frustrated with it, and we've barely begun. Let me go ahead and tear the air cleaner off and get to the carburetor. I know the carburetor was a problem when they sold it to me, so might as well not fight that and just go ahead and swap it out. All right, let me grab my tools. All right, Weber is on and in place and things are hooked up to it. I think we need to fire this thing up, see if it runs. Is it gonna fire? I kind of get the feeling that the fuel pump is bad because there wasn't much fuel that was up there between the pump and the carb before. Let's see. Come on. Oh, it's gonna fire. It's not really running any different than it was. A little bit better. Cool. A little better. Choke's opening up. Ah, it's running way better. Look at that. Look at that. So much better. It's amazing. It's amazing, really. It's just running like it's supposed to. We got a pretty good exhaust leak. I'm sure that manifold's cracked or something. But I think we need to actually go run this around the parking lot and see if it drives. Does it have headlights? It's got headlights. Those are high beams, I think. Gosh, this is like a normal truck. We got running lights. We got a license plate light. Let's see what we got. We got a turn signal up here somewhere. No signal. Oh, we got a signal there, no running light. We got a signal back there. We've got a signal there. And a signal up front. Oh, this is rad. Wonder when the last time this thing drove was. Huh. It's moving under its own power. This is awesome. Man, it really, you can really tell it doesn't have power steering. It kind of has brakes. It has brakes. Huh. This thing doesn't suck. Second, third, fourth. Has 5 gears. It's a win. So far, it's a win. Yeah. It's Saturday and I'm back out here to work on the B2200. Today is the day to do some cool stuff. I've got a set of wheels and tires here, low profile 17s. They're actually Ford Ranger wheels that I picked up off a marketplace. I bought some cheapy tires for them. We're gonna lower this thing, put it on wheels and tires. I've got to see how this thing's gonna look slammed a little bit. It's just like the first step in like all of the modifications that I would have done back in the day. It was always important to have cool wheels and tires. It's always important to have that low stance. And the thing runs now, so that's a bonus. Might as well try and make it look cool. All right, I'm gonna get busy. I'm gonna drag in a bunch of my tools, floor jack, jack stands, all that stuff, and see how this thing looks in the next few hours. It should be pretty cool. All right, we got this thing up on jack stands and left the floor jack under it. First thing I want to do is pop the wheels and tires off the front of this. Make sure the brakes aren't totally hosed. Make sure we don't have any like major problems under there. And then we're going to lower the front suspension. These things really couldn't get much easier. These use a torsion bar for a front spring, and you can essentially just loosen the adjuster on the torsion bar and it lowers the front suspension. So I'm gonna get under here, I'll kind of explain it as we go, and hopefully, without spending any money, the front of this thing's gonna go down about 3.5, 4 inches. Should be pretty rad. Let's see here. It definitely has some brake pads still. It seems like the pads are actually pretty new. This shim is trying to exit stage left. I don't know, all seems pretty good. I mean, other than it just sitting, the lug nuts came off good and easy, so that wasn't a battle. Pretty cool. Definitely had some like road salt in its life and didn't get washed off often enough, but all in all, it's pretty dang clean. Let's get under here. I want to show you the torsion bar. Here's the end at the A-arm, the lower control arm. And basically the torsion bar is a spring that attaches to the control arm there. The bar runs back. That bar runs back and then it attaches to the frame back here, but it's on this adjuster. You can see the bolt here. Basically this just sets preload on the bar, and the bar is spring steel, so the A-arm's up there trying to go this direction. This is stopping this end of it, but if you figure the front of the arm is trying to go up when you lower it, if you just turn this and drop this down a little bit, it actually allows it to sit at a lower height. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's see if it's gonna loosen up. Some of the trucks, like Toyotas, they actually have like a jam nut in here and you gotta like break the jam nut free before you can do anything. This isn't requiring that. So we just dropped that about a 1/2 inch or so. I would like to know how much thread is left in there. I guess I can take the tension off and see what it tells me. I know if I run it back up, we've got enough threads to support the rig. I think we're gonna be fine here. It's been a long time since I did this. We'll go about there. So I think what I'm gonna do is just measure basically from the end of that T-bolt to the block. I'm just under 3 1/4. So we'll go lower the other one to the same. We'll go lower this one the same. See what it says. Wrong way. If you were trying to lift this truck, you can do the same by tightening it up a little bit. And if you really want to get technical about all this stuff, you can actually rekey this torsion bar. If you don't get enough movement out of the adjustment here, you can take the end of the adjuster off and clock it one tooth. These are like a fine spline, like an axle shaft. Sometimes you got to grind out a certain spline so that you can clock it, but that's what's called rekeying the torsions. If we keep this thing, if we need to get this thing super low on torsions and these are dragging on the ground, then you rekey it so that this is actually positioned up higher without having so much preload on the bar. Right there. We've got the front lowered. That was pretty easy. All right, we got that done. Now we're gonna get in the wheel well here, and I wanna pull the bump stops out. Probably not the most smart thing to do, just pulling them out, but we will be able to get a good ride out of this thing. If we pull the bump stops, the shocks might be a little long. They'll probably bottom out here and there, but this will allow us to get it low without it riding terrible. Yeah, that's the best case scenario. You just break the stud off. Perfect. Hopefully the other side does the same. Come on out of there. here we go. This is kind of the big moment. These are Ford Ranger wheels. These are, I don't think these are Ranger Raptor ones. I think they're just a regular Ranger. But they're late model 17s with an absolute mountain of backspace, so they should tuck in pretty far. They have a large center bore, and they are 8 on 6.5 bolt patterners, 6 by 139.7 or 7.9 or whatever. Anyways, these are sort of a new school trick that we've been kind of doing for years. Oh my gosh, that's gonna fit perfect. It's always been cool to track down wheels that you can get stock, get them at a wrecking yard, get them on Marketplace cheap, that actually fit your vehicle. And just with the new Rangers and the Broncos over the last couple of years, these wheels have kind of come on the scene. They're a little more modern than what I would like to have, but the price is right. I mean, a 17-inch 6-lug wheel that tucks on a low truck and doesn't break the bank. I paid $300 for the wheels, and then I paid $300 for the tires, basically. So we're in this setup pretty cheap. I'm just reusing the stock lug nuts that I had. I really should get what's called a bulge lug nut, and these ones are actually going kind of deep, and it's almost like the hex is getting really close to the taper. But you kidding me? Wheels that tuck for like virtually low buck. Sick! Dude, that's awesome. They're actually gonna tuck. They should be like really good. Hopefully they clear the frame rail in the back, but I think we're gonna be good. I've seen the new Bronco wheels on quite a few lowered Mazda trucks, so we should be like right there. Let's get this side slammed on there, lower it down, and see if we lowered it much. See if it changes the look at all. I'm jacking it up from the front cross member this time rather than underneath the oil pan, because I'm pretty sure if we go under the oil pan, the floor jack's gonna get stuck. It's low. It is low. Oh yeah, now we're talking. The wheels kind of match the gray and the stripes. I roll it back and forth and let it settle in. Haha, this is great. It's pretty low. Does it have any suspension? It does. Right there's where the shocks bottom out. You can feel that. I may have to put a little more twist on the torsion bar adjusters just to bring it up a tiny bit, but that's pretty good. It looks rad. Stoked. I'm gonna turn this thing around and back the truck in, because I have a feeling we're gonna be cutting and grinding a little bit to get the back of this thing low. Look at that, you just start it up and drive away like a normal truck. So cool. I have to show this thing off while I've got the opportunity. This is a friend Mark's high school ride. You can see written in the dust right there, class of '91. Could you imagine being a senior in high school in '91 and cruising this bad boy around? This is a Nissan 720. I think it's probably an 83 or an 84. It's got the Japanese bed on it. It is so cool. It's got an old school lift on it. It's body lifted a bunch, I believe. It's got directionals, American Racing directional wheels, some old Wildcat all-terrain tires. It's got aftermarket fender flares on it, a double single roll bar. If you ever hear people talking about a triple double or double single, that's what this is. Double up, single back. It's got the 4 KC daylighters across the top with the covers on them. And then look at this fiberglass like bubble visor over the windshield. So cool. It's got the red Anco wipers on it, red wiper arms, the twisted spring style antenna. It's got an old Smittybilt front bumper on it. Like, this thing just oozes cool. I'm gonna open the door. I have to do it. Red velour seats, you kidding me? Class of 91. Red Grant GT steering wheel. Wood grain dash. And I guess it has some pretty cool stereo stuff from way back in the day. Oh, and the stainless rocker trim. This truck is so good. If you guys have any interest in seeing this thing run and drive, you're gonna have to comment, because I will have to get a hold of my buddy Mark and be like, dude, we gotta get your truck out and go cruising. It is just too cool to be sitting in here collecting dust. All right, let's get back to working on my my high school dream truck, kind of. I would have been graduating in 96, not 91. About the time I was getting into mini trucks, it was all about super clean and super low and very few accessories. So just sort of more that like clean and simple, almost like Euro look. So we're gonna get in here, slam the back of this thing. I've got a couple of tricks to make sure that we can get this thing lowered a bunch. We're gonna end up using a lowering block in the back. And basically all it does is it's a spacer that goes between the axle and the leaf spring. So you space the axle up and it lowers the truck down. Super simple. This one is pretty rusty, so I'm gonna fight with the U-bolts a little bit getting these off. But we'll pull the U-bolts off, the spring plates. We'll ditch those bump stops just like I did in the front. And then, depending on how I'm feeling, we might get rid of this leaf spring as well. Let me get the impact and we'll get in here and start tearing this thing apart. Where are my vice grips at? Okay, that went pretty dang smooth. Getting those out. Might as well try and get the center pin out for these leaf springs. Usually I'll use like a C-clamp on these springs before you pull the center pin out. But I don't have a C-clamp, so we're using some channel locks. And that overload can come out. Actually, I might take the middle leaf out, because this bottom leaf, actually, they are factory ones. It's got the clip with the e-brake deal on it. So I think what I'll do is maybe I'll take the middle leaf out. I should be able to bend the clip here, pull the middle leaf out, and then put the overload and that bottom one in. And it'll probably end up lowering this truck, like with I'm putting a 3-inch block in. And by pulling this leaf and doing the 3-inch block, I'll bet you it drops at about 4 1/4. And that is going to put us really close to being up against the frame. Come on out of there. These leaves are so trashed. All right, come on. Get started, catch a thread. Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and tighten that center pin back up. I don't need it on super gnarly attack mode. That's good. Look at that. We just lowered our Mazda probably 1.5 inches just on that spring removal. I guess we're ready for a lowering block. You'll have to check these out. They're kind of cool. All right, here's what I brought with me. A little bit of everything. This is a typical lowering block that you'd get like at the auto parts store or Amazon or whatever. Cast aluminum, not bad. This one has a cast aluminum pin as well. Sometimes those pins are weak and they'll shear off. Basically, if you're gonna have problems with lowering blocks, it's because your U-bolts aren't tight enough, or you've got too much slop in the hole for the centering pin or something like that. This truck though, I want to go ahead and use these homemade blocks that I made years ago for my 64 Mercury Comet. And they're a steel block. It started out as 3-inch 3x2 rectangle tube. And then I cut like, I think a 1/2 inch off one side and I angled them. And what that does is like either tips your pinion angle down or tips it up. And that, on this one, I'm going to tip it down, and that kind of helps keep the U-joint angle in check. Then if you look here, the top centering pin hole is centered, but the bottom one is moved forward like about a 1/2 inch. So what that does is it not only is it going to like kick the pinion angle down a little bit, it's also going to like scoot the axle back about a 1/2 inch. So these are kind of trick. They keep you from like jamming the drive shaft into the back of the transmission, and should fix a few little problems. I've got to add a little shim in here because I need the center pin to sit like flush and not be flopping around. So we'll get those in place. I may tack weld them. I had to drill these really big because on that Comet it had some funky spring plates and stuff. So we'll get this thing all kind of back to being somewhat normal. And I'll get the new upper pin in place so that it matches the hole in the axle tube. I'll make sure this matches the stud that's on the leaf spring, and then this thing should jack the axle up, scoot it back a little bit, fix the pinion angle, and slam it all in one shot. Yes, you can get away with this though. This is just like slightly better. All right, I got these homebrew lowering blocks all dialed in. I've got some U-bolts. Let's throw this thing together and see what we got. One of the things you do want to look out for is if you're lowering your truck like this, if you're running small wheels, a lot of times like these bolts will hang lower than the bottom lip of the wheel. And if that's the case, then if you get a flat tire, it'll end up dragging the spring plates and the U-bolts on the ground, and that's not good. There are laws in place about that as far as making sure if you get a flat, you don't end up dragging all that stuff on the ground. Oh yeah, here we go. Dropped wheels and tires in the quickness. Man, those rusty drums look so bad back there. Come here. Pretty sure this truck's still new enough though that I can get parts for it like real easy. We'll see how it goes. I really wouldn't mind having like a sandblaster so that I could like clean parts like that rather than replacing them. Because I bet you those are the original ones, and they're probably way better than what you're gonna buy online nowadays. And I hope it goes down from there, because that is not looking very lowered. Look at that. Heck yeah. Ah, it looks like a lowered truck. Still has some suspension, that's good. It's so good. Haha. Rad. I love it. Let's go drive it down the road. Clutch feels good. All right, first time on the road in 16 years, and it's all customized now. Man, it's a far cry better than it was yesterday. No clutch, old gas, barely ran. Now look at this. Let's go cruise. Look at that. It's driving down the road. Heck yeah, so cool. It's a truck. It's doing things. This is awesome. Even the parking brake works. I guess when it was parked, it was probably just a normal truck. But dang, it's driving again. It's doing things. It's not sitting on that side yard covered in moss and mold and lichen and all that stuff anymore. This thing's great. I'm gonna hit the road and head home. I've got like one more thing I want to make sure I do to this thing before I put it really in service, because I can't really stand that camper shell that's on here. I know a lot of you guys are probably like, shells are cool, and I agree, shells are cool. There's a time and a place for them, but this is not the right kind of shell to be on this truck. This thing, I mean, it doesn't fit it right. It's got that big old bump up. It's just not super stylish. All right, I'm gonna load this thing up, head back home with it. I didn't plan this out very well. Hopefully the truck will get up there. I drug a little, but not bad. We're on. I really want to be driving at home, but you gotta do better planning than I did to make that happen. All right, I'm gonna go pack up tools, strap this thing down, and hit the road. This thing's actually cruising. I got to my house and then I unloaded the truck, and I actually got a guy lined up to buy the camper shell off of this. So we're heading north a little bit to go meet the guy. Pretty stoked. The truck's actually driving down the road and doing its thing. The temperature got really hot, and then I think the thermostat opened and it cycled, and now it's doing really good. It's just kind of coming back to life, you know? Gotta let these things kind of work themselves out. Here we go. Had to break the OnX out, just because it's got that GPS speedometer. So I'm going 55, speedometer says I'm going 50, 60. So at 60, I'm 5 miles an hour off. That's just because these tires, the overall diameter is quite a bit smaller than the original ones, but it's kind of an easy one to figure out, and it'll be easy to not get caught speeding in this thing, that's for sure. That was awesome. Truck just ran down the highway, did 60 miles an hour almost, did 57 miles an hour. Now I'm gonna sell off this shell because it's really not my style, and probably go wash this truck up real quick because the back window is absolutely nasty in this thing. This must be my guy. Fresh new look without that shell on it. I'm gonna go run into the car wash and get all this moss off the back glass. Oh, come on. I gotta mess with the timing a little bit. So cool. There we go. Just got out of the car wash. 2 washes in like 2 days. I don't know when the last time this thing was washed, but man, it is looking fresh. It's looking good. It has transformed so much in just 2 days of work. That's so rad. Got the carburetor done. That thing's running now. Drained the fuel system. Lowered the suspension a bunch. Fresh wheels and tires. Got rid of the shell. This thing is like ready for the boulevard. What a cool rig. All right, I'm gonna go cruise this. I sold the shell for 40 bucks so I can top off the gas tank. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching the Dirthead Shed.